there comes a moment, quiet, almost invisible, when something inside you begins to shift. Not loudly, not all at once. No lightning strike, no sudden revelation, but like a whisper, echoing through the deepest parts of your soul. A feeling you can't quite explain, but can no longer ignore. A knowing without words, a pull without direction. And it says, there is more than this. More than what you've been told. More than what you've accepted. More than what you've been living. And once you hear it, you cannot unhear it. Welcome to my channel, Enlightenment in the Darkness. I am for Winds. And welcome to the Sophia Stage, awakening the divine wisdom within. What is the Sophia Stage? Slow cosmic visuals, stars, feminine light forms. The Sophia Stage is not something you'll find in textbooks. It won't be taught in classrooms or explained in neat, logical steps. It's not a diagnosis, not a label, not a trend. It is a remembrance, a sacred unfolding, where the illusion begins to crack and something ancient begins to rise. In the quiet spaces of your awareness, truth starts to seep through, not as information, but as recognition. In ancient Gnostic teachings, Sophia is the embodiment of divine wisdom, a luminous presence, a cosmic intelligence, who descended from the higher realms into the density of the material world. Not because she was weak, but because she was seeking. Not because she failed, but because she could feel. And though she fell into fragmentation, into confusion, into separation, she never lost her light. It remained hidden, woven into existence itself, and that same light lives within you. Before the awakening comes the unraveling, the undoing, the quiet collapse of everything you thought you understood. You may feel lost, without knowing why, disconnected, even from things you once loved, restless, like your soul has outgrown your life. You begin to question everything, your beliefs, your path, your purpose, even yourself. The world begins to feel off, like a story that no longer fits your soul, like you've been reading from a script that was never truly yours. And this can feel heavy, confusing, lonely, even frightening. But hear this clearly. This is not failure. This is not you falling apart. This is you seeing through the illusion. This is the descent. Just as Sophia fell, not as punishment, but as part of the great unfolding, you too descend into uncertainty, so that you may rise with truth. Because sometimes you must lose what isn't real to remember what is. Signs you're entering the Sophia Stage: soft glowing nature, butterflies, wind, water. Then something begins to change. Subtle at first, like a shift in the air, but over time, undeniable. You begin to notice things differently. Moments feel deeper. Silence feels louder. You may feel drawn to solitude, not as loneliness, but as peace. Nature, as if it speaks in a language you're beginning to understand. The unseen, seeing symbols, dreams, synchronicities. You start seeing and recognizing more patterns, feeling energy, sensing meaning where there once was none. Your intuition sharpens, not as a voice, but as a knowing, a quiet certainty that doesn't need to explain itself. Your sensitivity deepens. You may feel more, everything, more emotion, more awareness, more connection. And what once felt important, status, approval, noise, begins to fade. Not because it disappears, but because you no longer resonate with it. You are no longer searching outside, you are turning inward. And within that inward turn, you begin to find something sacred. This is where the true shift happens. Not in the mind, but in the soul. You begin to trust yourself. Not because you have all the answers, but because you no longer need them from the outside. You stop asking, "What should I believe?" And instead, you feel, "What do I know is true?" And that knowing doesn't come from books, or voices, or validation. It comes from within, from a place that feels ancient, familiar, unchanging. This is Sophia, rising within you, not as something separate, not as something external, but as something you've always been. A quiet intelligence, a sacred awareness, a living wisdom, and the more you trust it, the stronger it becomes. The Sophia Stage changes you, not all at once, but in ways that cannot be undone. Quietly, deeply, permanently. You become less reactive because you see deeper, more aware. Because you feel truth, more present. Because you are no longer lost in illusion. You begin to observe rather than absorb, to understand rather than judge, to feel without being consumed. You start to see through illusion, but without losing your compassion for those still walking within it. And something profound begins to settle within you. A calm, a clarity, a quiet power. You realize awakening isn't about escaping the world. It's not about rising above others or leaving reality behind. It's about seeing clearly, feeling deeply, and living truthfully within the world as it is for the very first time. Under veils of forgotten light, she wandered through the silent night, through echoes dim and fractured sight. A soul concealed, yet burning bright, not lost, but hidden from our own sight. She wore the weight of borrowed names, of borrowed truths and borrowed frames. Yet deep within, beyond the noise, there stirred a call she couldn't avoid. A whisper moved beneath her chest, a quiet truth she could not suppress. You are more than what you've known, not carved from stone, but fully grown. A seed of stars, a flame untamed, a soul the world has never named. Through shadowed paths and questions deep, through restless nights that stole her sleep, through every doubt and silent plea, she unraveled who she thought she'd be. She followed not the world outside, but the ancient pulse she held inside. A rhythm soft, yet always there, a thread of light within despair. And there she found, beneath it all, no fall had ever been a fall. No breaking ever meant the end. but transformation once again. For in the fracture, in the ache, in every truth she could not fake, the soul remembers what it has always been. Sophia lives, not far above, not in the sky, but in your blood, in every breath, in every tear, in every moment you choose to hear. She is the knowing you cannot deny, the truth that lives behind your eyes, and when you listen, when you see, you remember. She lives in you, and she lives in me. Thank you for joining me here today on my channel. If this video resonated with you today, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe for more enlightenment in the darkness. And until next time, stay between the worlds. I am for winds. Many blessings.